Failed with minor repairs, repairs by a fully licensed vendor. Permit may be required. Engineer oversight, 3 site visits. Certification with owner liability in lieu of a load test. Load test still may be required by the AHJ.
Fire escape inspection summary video. This is Inspector Alan Toll. I'm a licensed architect in California and a certified fire escape engineer. This is one of 2 systems. This is facing O'Farrell. This is the one that faces O'Farrell Street. You can see down there, just to give us a point of reference. This is a preload test inspection. This is not a repair report. It's basically a pass-fail inspection to determine whether this fire escape is structurally sound and painted and maintained properly. This fire escape is going to need a little bit of work before we can pass it. There's 3 ways that we could certify this fire escape, and one is to do a complete refurb where we are replacing all of the existing bolts and backing up any existing connections. We could do a partial repair, and which would be replacing suspect bolts and anything left behind is load tested, or we can do a affidavit letter which states, to the best of our experience, opinion, knowledge, and belief, that this fire escape is sound and ready for its intended use. If that is the case and acceptable to the AHJ, then we would need to hold fire escape engineer and the city harmless and not liable for any future issues with this fire escape. It looks like it's definitely built before 1978, so there may be some incidents of lead paint. We don't know that at this time. It is a galvanized system that's been painted, so it may have been painted after 1978. So this is, let me say, this is the Farrell side, which comprises basically it's 4 platforms. I'm on the top platform, and I'm going to start. I've inspected and photographed some of the issues. Generally, it's in fairly good order. I don't see any incidents of internal rust. However, with the galvanized, this could use a paint job. As you go down, there's more incidences of flaking paint. So after a while, the galvanization starts to lose its effectiveness, but I don't really see that happening yet on this. But for the future, I would suggest a new paint job. It is pretty dirty. If anything, it could use a good washing, power washing. You got dead birds here. A lot of obstructions and beer cans on this, so we want to keep this clear. This is a pre-existing non-conforming fire escape, so some of these that I request in this area here is very narrow with this trim piece that goes along the wall. But it does have a ladder to the roof that's in relatively good order. So I'm going to start to head down, and a lot of this is going to repeat itself, but as you can see, all original hardware everywhere. No welded connections, which is good, and no welding should be done on a fire escape for any repairs. The connections back to the building appear to be in good order. And we can't verify this bolt that's connecting it, but it appears solid. Again, just cleaning it up, and maybe in certain instances just caulk around, add some 30 to 50 year silicone around that connection back to the building. You can see there's a lot of debris and flaking paint. The treads are all welded. They're all riveted. Some of the connections are bolted with the original hardware. That's been painted over quite a bit, so we don't really know what's underneath that. It doesn't appear to be any internal rust, but we want to inspect these connections for the clips to the stringer. And coming down There is a standpipe system. Actually, this one up here could use a little bit of work. That's not under our purview, but something to think about. The slats look in pretty good order. There may be a few loose slats that need to be tightened up a bit, but you can see all original hardware. No incidents of internal rust that I can see. But you can see it does need some paint, some of these treads. We need to clean this out. We paint it, and we would suggest caulking this back with silicone. You know, one of the options is to add a new bolt into every one of these stringers, and that could be the treads to the stringers. That could be a certified connection. Coming down, I'd like to have these inspected. This bottom base plate, I don't know why it's shifting. As you can see again, debris, connections look good. The cement back to the building is in pretty good order, as you can see. But we would suggest caulking that and sealing that for any future. The underside needs painting, but really no rust, Jackie, that I see. The railings up here in good order, again, pre-existing non-conforming. Coming down, you can see all these treads are in need of paint. And you can see the connection at the bottom is a little bit suspect. So I'm going to come down again and make sure I got all this back here. You know, we would suggest that this all gets cleaned out and caulked along the connection back to the building. And coming down, this is the second from the bottom platform. Pretty much more of the same. I'm going to come down to the first platform. Okay, now here we have a repair. You can see that this rail is all rusted out. So, you know, that makes some of the others suspect that we want to take a look at. But again, paint all over this connection, original hardware. No outstanding issues on the cement. The cement looks in good order. This connection's in good order. Again, instructions. Haven't released the ladder, but it does look like it needs some service. Hasn't been serviced in the last year. It is a telescoping ladder. There is some rust that I see on some of these connections. I'm not sure what that is there, but cable should be maybe swapped out. It's turning brown. There's no grease on any of these on the rollers. But so that's going to conclude my inspection for system number 1 at 450 Jones Street in San Francisco. If you have any questions, Fire Escape Engineers, 866-649-0333.
Load test still may be required by the AHJ. Failed with minor repairs. Repairs by a fully licensed vendor. Permit may be required. Engineer oversight, 3 site visits. Certification with owner liability in lieu of a load test. Fire escape issues. Photos represent what the violations are, not where they are or how many exist. Pass-fail inspection, not technical repair report. Please call us with any questions. Thank you. Please call us with any questions. Thank you.